G'day Frank, it's nice of you to come up to the Gold Coast to show me your new Busted Knees line winder, code BF216. Have you actually made 216 different ones of these to get to number 216?
I haven't. It's actually just the next part number in line that I had, so
Okay.
that's where that came from.
So how long's the process taken to actually get to this stage where you've got this product?
We started about 12 months ago making parts. Took me about 2 years to find a design where I thought it's going to be economical to make.
Yeah.
Before that, we thought about plates and so forth, and producing it was just going to be too expensive. But then when we sort of came up with that design with the bars to connect it all, to get the three-way movement, things just fell into place. And then we sort of overcame the hurdle of getting enough torque out of the drive.
Yep.
And as soon as we put that gearbox on it, that was a bit of a game changer.
Okay.
So we're quite happy with how it came out.
Okay.
And thank you very much for accepting
The challenge?
the challenge. Yeah. When you said yes, I didn't hesitate and flew up.
Well, you could have named your company after my tackle used busted stuff. I can certainly break most things. Hopefully I won't break this and it works out just fine.
Yeah.
We haven't run it yet, but
No,
we're going to give it a try. Okay, before we do that, we're going to spool up a reel. Of course, when you're going to spool up a reel, you've got to take line off, and you've got that covered with this little gizmo that you put in a drill, and it's actually a despooler. Yeah, so that's nice and quick with a drill, and that's just easy to use. You just do that up, put the spool on, whack it in your drill, and despool your reel. And when you've made this, it takes, all sizes of overheads, pretty much?
Yeah, we put 80s on. I haven't actually put 130 on yet.
That even pushes commercial commercial spoolers. If it can do 130s, that's great, but I certainly wouldn't be putting it on the warranty card that it can.
Yeah.
80 is even pushing it. You've sort of seen it. I've had a commercial line spooler there.
Yeah.
That's been back about 9 times because of the way I spool 80s.
Yeah.
The most important thing about spooling a reel, the line's got to go on tight. And with this setup we've got here, we've got the bee's knees set up down the back of the table there, and I've actually set the drag on that, and I've set the drag on the spool with the bee's knees at 8 kilos because we're putting on 24 kilo line. When I normally spool, I actually would be doing it at around about 12 kilos because strike drag's a third, sunset's about 15, so you really need to put the line on tight, and that's where one of the greatest failures is with spooling line is people just don't put it on tight enough. Even shops, and some shops really screw that up, and with braid, you've really got to get that on tight. So we're really going to push this to the limit, and we've even got a great little line guide here, which actually isn't falling off, it's staying on there, which is great, and it's actually got an actual line meter there to know how many meters you're putting on there, which is great. So you know how much line you've got left on your spools, you know how long your top shots are, so you know how many top shots you can get off your spool. You've got this set up with braid on the back, backing, and you've tied not a very fancy knot to get it going.
No. I thought we were going to have a test run, but we haven't actually had a test run.
No, we're not doing a test run.
No, we're just going to go
we'll
straight
break
into
it on camera if we're going to break it.
And this is actually something that you designed about maybe 2 years ago. You sent me a message saying make something with the rollers.
Make something with rollers, because that's been one of the biggest drawbacks, and when I've been spooling using the commercial stuff, whatever we've been using has been getting hot, which means the line's getting weaker, and I'm not really a record fisherman. I don't claim records, but I like catching large fish on light tackle, and my main line tackle is 8 kg. You burn that, it's down to 5.5.
Right.
So it's really critical to really not damage your line, even to the point where when I spool a reel, I actually go to the extent of actually spraying the spool with silicone or soak it in water for a long time, because you'll hear the line crack off the spool when there's enough drag on it, and each one of that cracking noise is actually burning the line. Even when it's coming off the reel, if it's not tight enough, you'll hear it crack, and that's damaging the line. So it's critical to have a roller system. You've got 3 rollers on this, which is fantastic, and it's got a swiveling handle, so that's a perfect design. Because we've got a gearbox here, there's a lot of pressure on the drill. So you do need a good drill. I'm using a DeWalt brushless, and that should do the job. I've charged up this battery, but I think it's a dud battery. It's been on there for a while, but I've got a spare super battery which I would recommend having.
Yeah.
And we've got the drill in reverse because the gearbox goes in reverse.
Yeah.
So you really have to do the chuck up nice and tight. The things to be wary of, and everybody who's used a spooler in a tackle shop or commercial spooler knows that this thing will get you in the knuckles.
Yeah.
It won't break your hand,
Yeah.
but it will sting, and you'll only do it
Yeah.
5 or 6 times before you
Yeah.
realise just stay out of the way.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the button. Have we actually got it in reverse?
I don't know. Probably not.
Maybe just give it a little.
Yeah, it's in reverse now.
Yeah. Good.
Okay, so we're going to give it a go, and the most important thing is get the line on nice and level on the reel.
Yeah.
And see how we go. But before we do that, we'll just sort of go through the other stuff that you got. Is we've got this great little cam setup that you've got here for the thread lines that we'll be using later.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of turning it, slotting the spool in,
Yeah.
tightening it up, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I actually found that it works best. It works either way, from the outside or from the inside. But
Okay.
if you hold it from the inside out,
I'd do it from the inside so
Yeah,
you don't
it
block the
doesn't-
spool.
and it doesn't open itself up either.
Oh, that's fantastic. So it's as simple as that.
Yeah, and then
And that's on there,
and then the rubber cone.
going the other way.
The rubber cone just goes on the other side and holds it in
Oh,
place.
fantastic.
Yeah,
So we'll do that too.
And it really provides a lot of
Support.
tension. Yeah, you can't move it.
I like the idea of doing it from the inside too, so
Mm.
you're not damaging the spool at all on the outside with all that fancy anodising and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay, well, let's give this a go.
Okay.
Now, it looks like you've got to be ambidextrous or you've got to get a mate. The problem with this is you've got to use 2 hands, Frank.
Yeah, but one guy's on your line level. And
Yeah, but generally you're holding a beer when you're doing this.
Yeah.
That's a distinct disadvantage.
That's the safety mechanism.
So do it slowly. Do it slowly. I would basically rest my hand on the reel.
I'm a bit nervous.
You should
I
be.
reckon we should have had a test run.
No test runs. We'll just get through that knot. And we're starting off slow. I like this. That's turned out really well. That's a lot better than the design I sent you.
It's nice to use, isn't it?
Okay, so we'll speed up a bit. Okay, so far that's great. All right, I am used to V8s.
Okay.
I am used to sports cars, so we're going to give it to. And we'll come back to you when we've spooled this up. Thank you.
Yeah.
1 sec. Let's go for it. Well, that's worked well at that tension.
Yep.
I'm going to put it up. Let's bust this thing.
This part's probably
It's
a little
busted fishing tackle.
This part's probably a little bit wobbly than it normally is with just one screw in it.
No, I think it's all doing pretty good. All right, now that's super tight. Let's see how we go with that. All right.
So usually we have 2 screws in there, but I actually forgot the screws, so we've only got 1 screw in there.
All right, that's a lot more tension, and it's doing really well. We'll be back with you soon. I'll just back that off a bit so we don't bend anything. You reckon that extra screws? Yeah, that would make a difference,
The
wouldn't it?
head usually doesn't move much. It's
Yeah.
usually
Oh, there's a lot of drag on there. Oh, the question I forgot to ask you, you're going to be using a wind on this or a standard leader system?
No, I'll have to take that off again with that granny knot underneath there.
Okay. Just be careful if you are spooling up your reel to have a wind on leader. You've got to leave about 7 or 8 mil edge on it, so you can actually put the wind-on leader there without it jamming up. And if you're not using a wind-on leader, you can actually fill the reel up pretty much to the brim, maybe just 2 or 3 mil spare. And the thing is that that distance of 8 mil more line without a wind-on is actually about 100 metres.
Right.
Because it's at the top of the reel. So that's what you're sacrificing when you're using a wind-on leader. For example, now we're at 261. We've gone past the sort of wind-on stage, but let's just see how much line we between wind-on and non-wind-on. Here we go. There you go, Frank. 100 metres difference.
Yeah.
360, so 0.1 of a metre difference.
Yeah.
That's the difference of the amount of line you got on there between a wind-on and not a wind-on.
Yeah.
Anyway, Frank, we didn't break it.
It's handy to have the counter for various reasons, isn't it?
Absolutely,
You know
absolutely.
how much line you got left on your spool, you know how much line you got in your reel.
No, it's fantastic. So that's 360.9. How do I
reset it?
Yeah, just go to memory.
Just hold the power button down.
You just hold the power button down.
I think, yeah.
Okay,
Or
and
maybe just once.
put the power back on. Here we go,
Just
and
press it once quick.
just press it once,
Yeah.
and we're back to 0. Okay, so you just press it once quick. Is that in the manual?
Not yet, but it will be.
No, you should leave it out and let people worry about it. They have to watch this. You don't have to watch this or not. All right, did the job well. Haven't broken it, and that last bit was actually at 15 kilo drag, which is certainly what an 80 gets.
Yeah, that's actually more than enough.
Yeah, and considering you haven't got a couple of screws in there because you forgot them,
Yeah.
good on you.
It's not too bad. Yeah.
It's passed the test. And you know what? It's very easy to use.
Yeah.
In fact, it's so quick to use, you're not going to miss having a beer for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I still suggest you work out how to do it one-handed. You know, you could probably lock this off.
I was going to bring some VBs up.
I don't drink, but I'm the only one that doesn't. All right, we're going to take this off and let's just change the system over.
Yep.
You can leave the drill attached, I guess.
Yeah, you can.
All right, so what we're going to do is we put a rubber band on here to stop that sort of flicking around, because if you stop it quickly, so we've got a rubber band around the handle and the
stopping
the
it
T
just flicks the handle
stops it
over.
whipping you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need the tool. Is that the only tool you need?
Yeah, it does everything. It does those two screws if you have two screws in there, and those two screws.
Okay, so we just undo that.
Yep.
Hang on to your reel so it doesn't drop.
Yep.
A bit more.
Yeah, just sort of wiggle it around a bit. It should come out.
Okay, good. And that's done. Guess what we haven't got? I need a pair of scissors and I'll be back.
Yep. We put some braid on there, or just do the mono, just
I'll just stick with the mono. We just want to see how the system works, I think. All right, that's still plenty of drag for that. So what do we do with this? We take that out. Yeah?
Just screws underneath.
Oh, you put it in with a screw there.
Spin it around a bit.
Okay.
It's,
Same tool. Don't lose the tool.
yeah, no. Oh, let's buy another one.
They're all under warranty. Or
Lose the tool. It's $50.
$50 screwdriver. Get a cord and attach it to it. Okay, so we've got that bit set up.
Yeah, and that's actually got a stopper bar, so you just drop it down under the bar if you undo that screw there.
Okay. So that's what adjusts that. So that.
Yeah, so it's automatically level.
Oh, that's perfect. That's nice.
Yeah, and then the other screw moves it back a bit. That one there.
Okay. The total setup, when this thing comes sort of in a flat pack
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it is. When you put it together, all you have to do is just
for freight and all that stuff.
you
I don't know.
only have to do those two little Allen
Oh yeah. Okay.
screws up. Actually, the lock nut goes on the other end. Doesn't really matter either way.
It's not going to do much.
Wouldn't matter. But, yeah. I sort of like to have that as close to there as I can.
Yeah. Okay.
But keeps it a bit sturdier.
Okay, so what are we going to do? Just screw that in?
Yeah.
We'll be back. It's a long screw.
That nail there makes it a bit easier.
Oh, so that is connected to...
Yeah, I might make the next lot a bit shorter actually. That's probably a bit longer than it needs to be.
Oh, I'll give him some to do. Well, let's do it at the lazy man size. I'm only just going to go through there so we've got the maximum screw up ability. I mean the maximum stuff up ability.
Yep.
Right, so I've done that up tight. I guess that's got to be tight. That's freewheeling on a bearing. Then we move that up, I guess.
Yeah. Because it's rubber, you know, it's not always 100% in the centre.
No, that's all right.
Wobbles a bit here and there.
Okay, I'll get the line. Now I go around the spool 1, 2, 3, 4 times. A lot of people don't do a proper knot on that spool because they think, oh, I'm never going to get down to the knot.
Yeah.
I've actually been down to the knot 5 or 6 times,
Well, yeah.
where it's actually just the knot holding,
Yeah.
and certainly the line comes tight, all the line stretches and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And you've got a couple of minutes to do something about it, and I've actually have not broken the fish off and actually caught them.
Right.
However, when you've got 1,000 yards of line on your reel, as soon as you turn the fish and you're actually catching it, you do realise you've got to wind 1,000 yards of line on by hand, which is not a fun thing to do. And one of the best times was actually with Tim Simpson at Mooloolaba. We're both fishing 6 kilo line on Beastmasters.
Right.
And we were both on the knot.
Not really.
Both of us. His fish was that way, my fish was that way,
Right, so
and we got both fish.
no one to drive the boat.
No, there was a guy driving the boat, but he didn't know what to do, so he just dead baited it. And we got both fish,
Oh, really?
sailfish. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
We thought the chances of that were none, 0.
Yeah.
So that's your line
Yeah.
measurement, which is fantastic, so I'll switch that on.
So you can. I'm not sure if you put any. Have you done that one up?
Oh, I might have. Probably not. Yeah, I have.
Yeah, you did. So then that's done up. So then you can sort of give that a little bit more tension to hold it, you know.
Yep.
And then if you want to check it, if you hold that ring there and just
That's not going anywhere.
do you want to feel it? See if-
That's not going anywhere. Okay, so you basically just put that through the middle.
I like to go over the top of it.
So we're going to go under.
Uh,
We're going to go under,
yeah, over.
round to the top, and
Otherwise-
under again.
Otherwise it counts in reverse.
Okay, that's great. Counts in reverse, that'll be interesting, wouldn't it? Okay, we're going to see how much line we can get on this Stella with 50-pound line. And here we go. Frank, that's I think all we need to show people, and that's fantastic.
That's all right.
So that's all we're going to do for the demo, but if you're interested, I'm just going to have a quick talk with Frank about his business. So how long have you been doing it?
Well, maybe 5 years, I think, sort of. I moved out of my shed last year into a factory. Yeah, but up till then is part-time gig till last October, I think.
So about
Yeah,
5 years
so it's-
part-time and finally cracked it. Gone
Yeah, I
full-time.
wouldn't say cracked it, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, you know, I think early
Having a
on, I knew about you, and I think I gave you some positive comments quite a while ago when you first started, because your stuff is revolutionary. It serves a purpose,
Yeah.
and it serves a purpose for stuff that really didn't exist well prior to you. And this, now
Yeah.
I haven't busted it. I think you should change the name of your company to Not Busted Fishing.
Yeah, that's sort of leftover from a fishing forum I used to be a member on, and I couldn't think of anything better other than busted.
Busted
off
fishing.
on a fish, so my username was busted,
Okay.
and then that kind of got.
Well, look, I'm happy with this stuff. I think it's fantastic. And you're not taking this home. I'll keep it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you're going to get travel in planes all over
happy.
Australia to sell one at a
No,
time.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy you spent the time setting it up and actually spending the time with me.
I can tell you, Frank, I've been in this industry. I guess I started screwing around with stuff when I was about 14, so about 50 years.
Yeah.
And in Australia, we are the country of inventors and innovators,
Yeah.
but in the tackle industry, especially in game fishing, and there's been some great ones, like Jack Erskine with his reel modifications, Jim Allen doing wide reels, Peter Gadeby with his stuff. And you're going to go in those annals, Frank. You're doing innovations that serve a purpose and make our life a better one.
Yeah.
And this is certainly... Putting line on reels has been one of the biggest problems for people. They actually take them to shops. The shops screw it up and then people blame the shop. You shouldn't have taken it to a shop. You should have done it yourself.
Yeah.
And if you're going to trust a shop, then that's your call.
Yeah.
It's very hard to get line on tight. It's very hard to get it on evenly.
Yeah.
And, I think the first couple of times you do it, my advice would be the first 2 times you spool up a reel, throw the line away, because you're not going to get it right.
Yeah.
But with this line counter and this non-friction setup, far better than I could have dreamed of when I told you about the concept.
I found something too. I noticed, playing around with spooling the reels. Happened to me a couple of times. You sort of get to the edge of the reel, and then the line runs a little bit up the side of the spool, and then it drops back.
Yeah,
Just creates a bit of weak, loose line.
it does.
So if you
So
if you're
pull
not,
it off.
if you're not careful,
get it back. It is a hard look. It's a hard thing to do. It's just about everything in fishing. We can make it look really easy, but none of it is. All of it takes experience. So that's what I'm saying. Spool up 2 reels and unspool and throw the line away and do it again the 3rd time. Just use some old line. Get used to the machinery. Get used to the tensions. Get used to checking the drag on your spool, because you want to know what that is. You can't just sort of think, it's tight. That's good enough. Because when you do hook a big fish and you want to go to sunset, when that thing's maybe died or slugging it down deep, you want to go to sunset.
Yeah.
If that line cracks back in there, you haven't got a whole lot of chance of
Yeah,
catching
yeah.
it. You've weakened the line, and that's something you don't want to do. And a lot of people think that it's okay with braid, but it's not.
Yeah.
It still weakens it. Weakens it with Dacron, and line care is a really, really important thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, Frank, thanks for coming up.
No, thanks heaps.
Thanks for showing us.
Awesome of you
And
for doing this.
it's a rainy day, so it's a good day to spill some reels. I've got 6 8-kilo reels over there that haven't been respilled in 6 years.
Yeah.
So you can show me how.
It'll come in handy.
Thanks, Frank.
No worries. No, thanks heaps. All right.
My pleasure.
Champion.
Thank you.
Thank you.